Hello world, this is Ina Coveney, and today we're going to be talking about how to define your target audience. If this is the first time that you're listening to this podcast, I want you to know that you are smack in the middle of a 5-day challenge. This is day 3, so I do encourage you to go back to day 1 and day 2, which are episodes 1 and 2 of the podcast, and listen to those two. But this is day 3. So who am I and why you should be listening to me? I started out in corporate. I was in corporate for 15 years. I was awesome at what I did. I always wanted to start a business, and now I did. And that's basically the Cliff's Notes of who I am. I'm based in Boston, but right now I'm in Philadelphia at my parents' house because I am also a mom of 2 amazing, wonderful boys. And I decided that for this challenge, I wanted to give everyone my undivided attention. So I hopped on a plane with the baby and I left the other baby with my husband, and I just flew over here so that I could be with you. And wouldn't you know it, baby got sick. If you follow me on Instagram at Ina Coveney, you will see my baby had an ear infection this morning. So never a dull moment here. So now we're gonna get started. Day 3, all right? Today is all about finding your target audience. So I wanted to start by giving you a little bit of a story, because target audiences are not as straightforward as you may think, right? I mean, and I'm going to tell you a story because somebody told it to me and it blew my mind of how important it is to actually know who your target audience is and exactly how your product is being promoted. All right, so once upon a time, there was this manufacturing company that made drills, right? Like construction drills. These were drills that were high end. These were for people in construction. So you would think, obviously, their target audience is, people who work in the construction space, so they can use it for professional jobs and all that stuff, right? So that's what they were thinking. But they started to notice that around May, hi Sujin, hi Lauren, around May, there was a spike in their sales, and they couldn't figure it out. They're like, why do people start buying these drills en masse, right, in May? What happens? So it turns out that once I started looking at their data a little bit deeper, it wasn't just that, May is when really the summer session begins, and that's why people are buying more drills, because they're starting their real, all the work during the summer. It was because moms were buying the drills for the dads for the upcoming June holiday, for Father's Day. And they realized that, wait a minute, we are making bank on all these moms buying something for their husbands, like thinking like this is a great Father's Day gift. So what if we shifted our marketing a little bit to start talking to those moms, to start talking to that audience who gift these drills to other people? And then their sales exploded, right? So that, as soon as I heard that story, I realized, I'm like, wow, you really don't know who your audience is until you start really doing your research, until you start putting things out there and start evolving with your business. When you start a business, you don't really have an audience yet, right? You can only imagine who those people are. And that's the exercise we're going to walk through today, because I want you to think about it, knowing this story, knowing all these things I'm going to tell you. But the truth of the matter is that once you start to get your audience and you start to listen to them, things are going to start evolving, because you are going to start to listen to feedback. You're going to start seeing like how people are actually using your product, who is actually buying your product, who's actually promoting your product. All right. So what we're going to do today is do everything we can to at least start off on the right foot, to not just think it is construction workers that will want my stuff. We want to think outside the box and see who else would be interested in it. All right. So starting up there, I wanted to tell you what the exercise for today is going to be. This is how we're going to start to get into a lot of detail, but really nobody else can do this homework except for you. So you're going to have to really block out 15 minutes of your time today and just sit down, get in a clear space in your head and to start to think of who these people could be. So the exercise is going to go something like this. I want you to sit down and I want you to write 5 to 10 different kinds of people who would buy or promote or be interested in your product. And the way we're going to do it is, I don't want you to just say, well, my product is for women, for moms, for college students, that's way too broad. All right, not all college students are made alike. Not all moms are made alike. So what I want you to do is go down to 3 levels of detail in each one of the types that you're going to be writing. So I'm going to give you some examples. When I say 3 levels of detail is, okay, I'm going to target women, that's level 1, who work full-time, that's level 2, who have children, that's level 3. So as you keep going down your list, right, you're going to get stuck. Don't worry about it. I want you to open up a magazine. I want you to open up a book. I want you to turn on the TV. I want you to start getting ideas, right? I want you to visit competitors' websites. I want you to see exactly how they're doing their targeting. Who do you think it's appealing to, all right? And I want you to come up with your list of 5 to 10 solid people who would buy this. And I want you to start to get creative. People who like Hello Kitty, people who watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia show. I want you to think that way, because what you're gonna do with that information is actually go out on Facebook, go out on websites, go out on Instagram, and I want you to see the kind of people who buy this type of product are the kind of people who would buy my product. So that is crucial. I'm actually going to go one level deeper into identification of target audience so you guys understand like how important this step is that part of your market research is once you have your list, you can actually go on these websites of your competitors, your Facebook groups that target the same people, and you're going to be able to read what people are saying about competitors' products. You're actually going to listen to somebody else's audience without having your own, and that's going to feed your product strategy. You're going to actually see what are other products missing that I could provide. What are the annoyances? What are people complaining about? I want to know. What do people love about it? Ooh, that person loves it. Who is that person? Drill into their profile. Oh, do they have children? Do they live in a certain area of the country? So that's how you start doing your market research. So without having a specific target audience member that you have in mind, it's going to be very hard to go on these groups and try to find out what is it that they like and don't like. So you have to start to get specific, right? That's why, I say, you're going to find out what type of toothpaste they like, because that may be one of the things that you jot down, right? These are the people who buy Colgate because you have a very strong feeling about Colgate because it's different than anything else. Colgate is not paying me for this advertising, but I that's the level of detail that I want you to get at, because there's all these other things that you're going to be doing for your market research that are out of the scope of this challenge actually, but I'm giving you food for thought for after this challenge is over. That's what you do to start researching your market, but you can't do that until you know who your people are, where they're hanging out, what type of stuff they like, what Facebook groups they join. So that's what I want you to think about. I'm going to give you 3 more examples, all right? Because I was thinking of some of you guys when I was writing these. So example number 2, this is for Kathy, because I know Kathy's targeting these people. This could be your item number 1. IT managers who manage systems security for small and mid-sized firms. You already knew that one, but that's an example of how you're going to come up with the first one. Good luck coming up with all the rest. Who else cares about data security? Who else would be advertising this? Who else would be promoting that? All right. I'm going to give you example number 3. And I was thinking about Jo. She's in Australia. I love my Australian folks. So this one is for Jo. She has products that are eco-friendly. So your first item is going to be women who feel strongly about recycling, who are always looking for a bargain. All right. So with that information, what Facebook groups do people like that join? That's where you're going to be looking for the rest of your market research. Number 4, this one actually appeals to me, and I'm sure it appeals to a lot of people, but I know I have some life coach in the audience, some life coaches. So you're looking for women who work full-time, who have big dreams, right? So then you start going, okay, second level, your second item is going to be who, right? Like, what is it that represents them having big dreams? Are they joining podcasting groups? Are they joining blogging groups? Do they already have their own blog? Everybody starts somewhere. So if you're looking for people who have big dreams, start by looking at people who have taken that first step, right? people who are blogging, people who have a podcast, people who are starting to teach online courses, people who just do consulting on the side. So you want to dive into Facebook groups and see and find those minipreneurs, right? Those are going to be people who have a full-time job but have a bigger dream. That's a great audience for life coaching. All right, so having said that, and I just noticed that Kathy joined. Kathy, I just gave you an example for yours. I hope you didn't miss it. What you're gonna do with these 5 to 10 is you're gonna do something else for me. All right, so with your 15 minutes, you're gonna draft your 5 to 10 people down to 3 levels of detail. And then I want you to rank each one of them. All right, this is how the ranking works, and this is gonna be in the recap. You don't have to know it by heart. You're gonna give it a ranking either 1, 2, or 3 to each person. All right, ranking number 1, it means that you are extremely familiar with this group, and in fact you are or you have been part of that group, so you know them because you were one of them. Ranking number 2, you are not one of them, but you personally know people who are. And ranking number 3 means that you do not know anyone in that group personally. And the next step we're gonna do is multi-steps. I promise this is the last step. The next step you're gonna do is you're going to cross out anybody with ranking number 3. All right, I'm not saying they won't be your potential target audience maybe down the line, but the reason you're taking this challenge is because you're starting out or you're really rethinking your idea. So I want you to go for the low-hanging fruit. So forget about those people that you don't actually know personally. I want you to be able to relate to the target audience that you're envisioning for the beginning of your business career. All right, so strike out anybody with a 3, focus on the 1 and 2s. All right, step number 3 and the final step, I promise this is the final step. Write down the name of a person that you personally know who would be willing to talk to you about their struggle, about their life in the next 24 to 48 hours. All right, you technically have until Friday at noon, right? Because tomorrow, the challenge for tomorrow is I'm going to be telling you exactly how to talk to these individuals, all right? Because it's not just going up to them and being like, hey, I have a product, would you buy it? No, that's not what we're gonna do. That is not how you do market research. No, my live session for tomorrow is going to tell you how to ask these questions so you can get the most information out of it. You're going to become a really good listener after tomorrow's session, all right? So I actually want you to hold off on contacting anybody from now until noon. I guess you can still contact them to see if they're willing to chat with you. You can do that after today. That's perfectly fine. But I don't want you to talk to them until you see tomorrow's live session because I want you to get the most out of it. And that's all tomorrow's session is going to be about. All right. So once you go through your 3 steps for today, feel free to reach out, see if anybody's willing to talk to you tomorrow evening or Friday morning. And if you're listening on the podcast, I know these timings don't make sense, but I'm basically talking about the next couple of days of the challenge. So that's what I want you to do. This is how we're going to identify your target audience. And tomorrow I'm going to tell you how to get the most out of the conversation with them so you can actually talk to them. And on Friday, I want you to come back and tell me what your transformation was. Because guys, this is where the transformation happens in this challenge. I can't stress this enough. If you skip the step of actually talking to a target audience member, you will have very much missed the point of this whole challenge because that's when the transformation happens. I have a question from Kathy. When you talk about people you personally know, would you recommend we limit this to those who we have a deep or personal relationship with? Or would an acquaintance be okay? Guys, acquaintances are okay. When I did my market research, I reached out to people. Actually, Kathy was one of the people that I reached out to. Kathy, we hadn't talked in 10 years, 15 years or something when I reached out to you because I wanted to do market research. So acquaintances are totally fine. If they meet your criteria, reach out, see what happens. Kathy said yes, and now she's here in the challenge. She was awesome. We had an awesome conversation and I got so much out of it. I also have Rachel on the live. She also accepted my request to do a market research conversation with her. She was absolutely lovely. She still thinks about our conversation she told me the other day, and that makes me feel so good, because it means that I didn't just get everything out of it. She also got something out of it. And that meant the world to me. And Rachel, I hadn't talked to her in probably 5 or 6 years. So acquaintances are totally fine. You would be surprised the people who will say yes to your request. Great question. Thank you, Kathy. So yeah, that's basically what the exercise is. Do not skip the step of talking to them. That is where the transformation happens. I really hope I made that clear. I want you to get the most out of this challenge. You are already here, so make this week count. It looks like we are all set. So what we're going to do is I'm going to be posting this exercise on the Facebook group for the challenge. If you are listening on the podcast, the challenge is probably already over, so don't worry about it. But I do have a Facebook group where if you are following along, if you are actually taking this challenge off time, right after the challenge actually already happened, I still want to hear your answers. So you can go to my Facebook group. You can go to inacoveney.com/Facebook, and it will take you straight there. And I do want to hear it. So post your answer with the hashtag day3, and I will respond, because I can't wait for this podcast to reach a lot more people, for you guys to get a lot more out of this than just this week when we're particularly doing it right now. So that's basically all I had for you today. Go on the Facebook group, give me your answer. I want to know who your target audience is, what ranking you gave them, and if you've identified somebody you can reach out to that meets that criteria. That will get you all set up for tomorrow's session, where I'm going to tell you how to conduct those interviews. All right. And it's totally okay to reach out to those people right now, so you have them lined up, see if they're available, and you can talk to them after tomorrow's live session. I'm going to leave you with that. We are ready for day 4 tomorrow. And for everyone on the podcast, thank you so much for listening, and I will see you guys on the next episode. All right. Goodbye, world. I'll see you next time.